If I've seen any further, it is by standing on the shoulder of giants. And that's part of the reason I'm sharing this experience. So that some of the mistakes I made, some of the hurdles that I faced, you don't have to go through them because I have gone through them for you. So consider me as your big sister in the teaching profession. So Hello my friend, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Grace Amoka, a very proud Nigerian teacher trying to live her best life and helping others to do the same. It's always such an honor to have you here. I don't think I'll ever get used to the fact that you watch my videos, you share with your friends, you comment. It's so overwhelming to have that kind of love and support and encouragement, and I'm super grateful for you, for the gift of you. Thank you very much. On today's video, I'm going to be talking about things I wish I knew as a first-time teacher. So if this is your first year in teaching, welcome. If you're considering going into the education profession, I wish I could send you dollars right now because you're the real superhero, you're the real MVP. Even if you're a veteran teacher, you've been here for a while, there's still a lot of value that you're going to get from here. So while you're listening, also put in the comments, I'd really love to know what are some of the things you wish you knew that nobody told you before you got into the teaching profession. I'll start by sharing mine and then I'd love to see yours. I'll be looking forward to reading in the comments. A wise person, I think it was Isaac Newton that said, if I've seen any further, it is by standing on the shoulder of giants. And that's part of the reason I'm sharing this experience. So that some of the mistakes I made, some of the hurdles that I faced, you don't have to go through them because I have gone through them for you. So consider me as your big sister in the teaching profession. So the first thing I wish someone told me was, you're not just a teacher, you're a leader. I don't know about you, but one of the reasons that I didn't come into the teaching profession as early as I probably should have was because of the perception that people have about teachers, the narrative about teachers being broke, being very bottom of the society's ladder, just those negative perceptions that the society has about teachers. I wish someone told me that I'm not just that kind of teacher. I'm more than that. I'm a leader in my classroom and even outside my classroom. And I've seen how I've evolved into someone that consistently thinks about solutions within and outside, the four walls of my classroom. So that shift in the mentality of who I am as a teacher, I'm not just your random everyday type teacher. I'm actually a leader. And when I put on that hat of leadership, it helped me to just tap deeper into some of my competences and started to work them into my class. And I saw a tremendous difference. Now I'm able to help other teachers to, just make more impact in the lives of their students, have influence in society. Because there are policies that can help us in the education sector that we need people to advocate for, and then also work on your income, so it's that kind of leadership, that innovative type of leadership that I wish someone had told me right from the start, that this is actually who you are, this is a value that you bring. So that's the first one for me. The second one, classroom management is more important than a perfect lesson plan. Fam, you could spend tons of hours trying to create the perfect lesson. You've envisioned your classroom, how you're going to teach them about adverbial phrases and clauses, how you're just going to mesmerize them and provide solutions to all their problems. If your classroom management is zero, you cannot have a successful class time. And that's one thing I wish, as much as we're working hard on creating fantastic lesson plans, we also need to support it, with great classroom management plans. And your classroom management plan doesn't start, you don't spring it upon your students. Many times we don't set clear expectations, but somehow we expect that our students should just know what to do. I think that's very wrong. So from day one, as you envision what you want your students to achieve, what you want to achieve as a co-learner in that space, you need to be able to say, what are the things that will help us achieve that goal? And you need to co-create this with your students. So one of the first things that I would do when I meet with my students for the first time, or when we're resuming a new term, is I'm like, okay, so what are your goals? What do you want to achieve this term or this school year? And by the time everybody lists out their goals, we then say, okay, so what's the best way that we want to achieve these? What are the attitudes, the behaviors we need to embody to ensure that we achieve these goals? And then we start to talk about them. I tell them what my expectations are of them. They tell me what the expectations are. So we're able to set procedures, how, routines, and all of that good stuff. And I realize that once I'm able to do this, and I keep emphasizing what the expectations are, reminding them, we have a better time. That's when my lesson plan can actually make sense. So I wish someone told me in the beginning that, babe, as you're working hard on killing it in your lesson really doesn't start with that lesson when you step into the class. It starts way before, when you have that vision for your classroom. And so classroom management is super important. See, the next one is that your well-being matters more than you think. There's one quote that teachers everybody celebrates when they think about teachers, and I totally hate it. Something like, a teacher is a candle that burns out to light others. I'm just like, no. I'm not in that WhatsApp group with you people. I'm not burning nothing out. I don't think there's anything wrong with you being whole and full, so that you're able to give that same fullness and wholeness to your students. So my own personal theory is, the better you are, the more sane you are, the more centered you are, the better you're able to help your students. You can't pour from an empty vessel. You can't pour from an empty cup. So your well-being is so important. I know you want to save the world. You want to save the students that you're working with. You want to mesmerize them every time. You want to put out such a star performance. But if you are not okay mentally, physically, every-wisely, you're not going to be able to give the best to your students. So you need to prioritize your well-being. And I wish someone told me that, in the first, I mean, as teachers, sometimes we have this Messiah syndrome where we feel like we're saving the world and we're burning out ourselves. The more burnt out you feel, the more you're actually, just throw it in the past. I've seen the difference between when I'm able to really take care of myself, and when I see how that reflects in my students, than when I just throw caution to the wind and I'm just roughing it out. Yeah, so I wish someone told me that in the beginning. The fourth thing I wish they told me is, hey, you will make mistakes and it is okay. Oh my goodness. You will make mistakes and it is okay. There's one thing I find we do in education, teachers were familiar with this. We talk a lot about the things, the values, the virtues we want to see our students embody, but we are nowhere close to those values. So we talk about, the 4 C's of the 21st century classroom, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, communication, but we don't embody those things. And it's the same with making mistakes. The culture that I grew up in, it's like you can't dare make a mistake. And that's the same thing we pass on to our students. But it's a very bad culture because it doesn't help them to try and put in efforts in the work that they're doing. And I've seen the significant difference that it has made in my classrooms when I'm able to come forth and tell my students, oh, I'm really sorry, I made a mistake in this. And they're able to point, my mistakes to me. I realize that I'm growing. And I'm also teaching them by modeling that concept of mistakes are just what they are, mistakes, and we always learn from our mistakes. So mistakes are not fatal in the way that we like to think about them. So I wish someone told me that there are days that I have such grand plans, but they're not gonna work. There are days that I'm going to misjudge a student, and can't afford to kill myself on that. I need to learn and move forward from there. So I would make mistakes. What is important is owning up to the mistakes and correcting myself. So that's the fourth thing. See, the next one, and I mean, it applies to anybody, whether you're in the education sector or not, is that relationships matter more than skills sometimes. So as you're investing in your skills, investing in yourself to become a more competent teacher, you need to be intentional about building relationships. I wish someone told me that I'm co-parenting with the parents of the students in my classroom. So they are not my enemies. No, we're on the same team. They are not my opponents. So that whole the parents of my students are harassing me. No. I wish I didn't come into the classroom with that mindset of, you know how you build a stance, a wall, such that someone is not even fighting you yet. But because you are already poised to fight, it's like, bring it on. But nobody is fighting you. So I wish someone told me relationships are very important. I can't count how many referrals I've gotten from, the parents of my students for some really, really great opportunities, from my colleagues as well, from my students themselves. I'm very big on building effective relationships with them, especially my students. And then the people you meet within the education sector. I've done quite a number of collaborations for fantastic projects within the education sector and even outside, because I was able to collaborate. That skill of building effective relationships with people, it will help you. I mean, it will save you a lifetime of trying to get certain things by yourself. Relationships are super, super important. So as you build your skills and develop your skills, also realize that relationships matter. Don't burn bridges. If you're leaving a school for whatever reason it is, make sure you don't burn that bridge. Let people remember you as that person that added so much value to this place. Just live on a very clean slate as much as is in your power. People matter. That's all I'm trying to say. And I wish someone told me earlier than when I learned it. The sixth one is teaching can be a pathway to global opportunities. And I'm super glad that these days a lot of teachers are coming to that realization. I imagine what it would have been like for me from day one if I knew that this teaching that people take for granted, people feel like, oh, teachers are just, what are they really doing? I wish someone had told me that it's actually a pathway to global opportunities. At some point in my career, of course, I figured that out. And I've been blessed to have some opportunities that even people not in the education sector have never come close to. But I wish someone had told me that if I was very intentional from day one, the world is literally my oyster. There's so much that I can be and do if I just knew that this teaching thing is not just teaching. There are a lot of skills that are inside of showing up and being such a great teacher. I wish that I knew from day one that these skills that I'm building, oh my goodness, they're valuable in boardrooms as well as they are in classrooms. So I hope that does something for you. So there are fellowship opportunities, there are scholarships. Currently, there are apps that I use, and I use them for free simply because I'm an educator. So the government has these opportunities, private organizations as well. They have these opportunities for teachers. It's such an honor, honestly, doing the job that I'm doing. The final one is, and it ties closely with the first one. And the final one is, you are not just a teacher. You are more than just a teacher. You're so much more. Teaching, I like to, sometimes when I introduce myself, I say that my name is Grace Amoka, and being a teacher is one of the ways that I express my godlikeness. Yeah? So you are more than just a teacher. Your identity is not tied to the job that you do. There's so much more to you. There's so much more to you, and it's important. So you realize that when you're stepping into a place, you're stepping in as the queen that you are, the king that you are. You're not ordinary. Never see yourself as smaller than anybody in any other profession. When I show up in the world, I show up fully as the daughter of a king that I am. Those working in oil and gas, they're not more important than me. Those working in the medical line or whatever it is that you do, you are not more important than me. And I know that so fully. I'm not defined by the work that I do. I'm defined by the daughter of God that I am. And so whatever I touch turns to gold. Whatever I touch, there is a signature of heaven on it. So as a teacher, it's not different. That's why I'm able to just see opportunities and expand my horizon and realize that the world needs the value that I bring beyond teaching. And what this has helped me to achieve, even with my students, is when I tell them that there are possibilities in the world, I need to dream, be a dreamer. They see the evidence in my life. One story that till tomorrow touches my heart so much. So I started out in a new school, and one of those days my students came. They were so excited, and they were like, "Oh, Miss Amoka, we googled your name and we saw you online." And they kept talking about it, and then one of my darlings now said, "Wow, Miss Amoka, you're so famous." I had such a good laugh, but I could get what she was saying. And then, of course, they knew about the books that I had written and all of that. And they were so fascinated. It's like, we've never had a teacher that was an author. But that's not where the story really hit me. So we had a parent-teacher forum where we had, parents and then the teachers of the school having conversations around how can we improve learning outcomes? How can we help and support our students better? And this man walks up to me and says, "Oh, you're Miss Amoka. My daughter has not stopped talking about you. She's talking about becoming an author as well. She keeps raving about how she wants to write books too." It warmed my heart in very significant ways. So even on days when I get discouraged, I remember that in shining my light, in letting my light shine, I'm giving my students opportunity to do the same. I'm modeling possibilities to them. And if you know me well, I really love this quote by Marianne Williamson. And I'll just leave you with that quote today before, we call it a day and look forward to the next video. And it says that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Dear teacher, you are not inadequate. Our deepest fear is actually that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light and not our darkness that frightens us. So we ask ourselves sometimes, who am I to be brilliant? Who am I to be beautiful? Who am I to be intelligent? Who am I to sit at the table where key decisions are made? And my question to you today is, who are you not to be? For God's sakes, you're a child of God and you're playing small. You're saying, I'm just a teacher. It doesn't serve the world. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve your students. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve anybody. So there's nothing enlightened about you shrinking and feeling smaller than you actually are. We were all made to show forth the glory of God. And my favorite part is that as you let your light shine, you give others the opportunity to do the same. As you're liberated from your fear, that you liberate others. The Bible, which is my favorite book in the whole world, it says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and sound mind." And one of those days when the Lord was teaching me, it was like a question he posed to me. He said, "If I haven't given you the spirit of fear, then where did you get it from?" Ooh! It burst my head. So God hasn't given you the spirit of fear. So whatever your dreams are, whatever you want to be, whatever you want to do, go forth. Know that you have the backing of God. You were made in his image and in his likeness. He brought you to this earth for a purpose. You are not just here to just be a teacher and write notes on the board and all. No. It's way beyond that. And you need to understand your assignment. Hey, how did we get from 8 things I wish I knew to this point? You get the point. I hope you do get the point. Please share in the comments which of these 8 things resonated more with you, and then share as well with me. I'd really look forward to reading your own comments on the things you wish you knew as a first-time teacher. Thank you so much for stopping by. See you on the next one. Remember, God loves you so much. God loves you so much. God loves you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you on the next one. Remember to share, like. Did I hear you haven't subscribed? What? No. We don't do that here. No, we don't do that here. Come closer. You need to subscribe. So smash that subscribe button. And the cool thing about it, I won't even know. So if you want to be that secret disciple following, it's okay. We know each other. No, I mean, I don't know you, but thank you so much. It's bye for now.